Good morning, students. In today's class of service marketing, we'll continue with the discussion that we are having in the previous class about factors affecting consumer behavior, service consumer behavior. In the previous two classes we have been studying about service consumer behavior and what are the factors that are affecting the service consumer behavior. We have understood four main factors that are impacting the service consumer behavior or affecting the service consumer behavior. The social factors we have studied, the cultural factors we have studied, the psychological factors we have studied, and also what are the various personal factors that are impacting the service consumer behavior that we have already discussed. One more factor that is there we are still to discuss is the economic factors that impact or influence the service consumer behavior. After the completion of the factors that are affecting the service consumer behavior, in today's class, after these factors, the economic factors is over, we'll start with a new topic that is the distinctive consumer behavior patterns towards services. So there are certain distinctive patterns of how a consumer will behave while purchasing services. We'll try to explore those distinctive patterns so that we can understand the buying behavior or the consumer behavior of services, consumer behavior of customers or consumers towards these services. So first we'll continue with the last factor that is remaining, that is affecting the service consumer behavior, that is the economic factors, and then we'll start with the new topic that is distinctive consumer behavior towards patterns towards services. So we'll start with the economic factors, the last factor that we have to discuss. Factors influencing consumer behavior in services. The last factor that we have to discuss, the fifth factor, is the economic factors. First comes is the personal income. The economic factor is the personal income that impacts the buying behavior or the consumer behavior in case of services. When a person has a higher disposable income, the purchasing power increases simultaneously. Obviously, when the person has a higher disposable income, when we mean disposable income, it is the income that is left after paying the taxes. So after the main expenses are over, the money that is left for personal consumption is known as the disposable income of a consumer or a customer. When a person has a higher disposable income, then the person has a lot of money, has a higher amount of money that he can direct towards personal consumption. That means if a person is having higher disposable income, the purchasing power increases simultaneously. Obviously, when he has a large chunk of money that is he can divert or devote towards these personal expenses, consumption of personal consumption, then the purchasing power of that person will be high. So with higher disposable income, the purchasing power also increases simultaneously. And then what is disposable income? As we have already discussed, disposable income refers to that money, to the money that is left for spending for personal consumption and saving. Some part we can also keep it for saving for our future. After income taxes has been accounted for, whatever money is there for personal consumption and saving, this is known as disposable income. When there is an increase in disposable income, it leads to higher expenditure on various items. That also we have discussed, because when the disposable income increases, then the capacity of the person to spend also increases, because with the increase in disposable income, that means there is a more money left for personal consumption, and when the consumer does personal consumption, it leads to higher expenditure on purchase of various items. But when disposable income reduces, the spending on multiple items also reduces. Obviously, when there is a decrease in the disposable income, the spending on multiple items are also reduces. Let us give an example. During the time of COVID, previously when people were having higher disposable income, people were spending more. because due to this COVID, there is a lot of problem. People are losing their jobs, and also some people are working at lesser amount of money, so that have the disposable income has reduced considerably. So now when they are purchasing uh, products and services, they are not purchasing multiple items. They are purchasing only on essential products and services. So as we are discussing from service context, so only essential services are bought or availed. Yes or no? So with increasing disposable income, it leads to higher expenditure on the service items or service offerings. And similarly, when the disposable income decreases, the spending on these multiple items also reduces. So this in this way, the personal income of a person impacts the consumer in case of services. So if a person has more income, he will spend more on services. If he has less income, he will be re- reducing his cost by a purchase of reducing the purchase of his services. Now the second thing that sub point under economic factors is family income. Personal income is what a person earns. Family income is what the all the members of the family earn together. That is the family income. This family income is also very important because maybe the personal income of a person may not be much, but when everybody in the families are contributing to the disposable income, the total family disposable income, the family income is more, then their purchase of services will be of higher quality and their expenditure on this service offering and product offerings will be more. So we'll understand how family income influences the consumer behavior in case of services. We'll start. Family income is the total income from all the members of a family. As we have already discussed, family income is the total income that all the family members together achieve or get. Second, when more people are running in the family, there is more income available for shopping, basic needs, and luxuries. Obviously, when there is a family, and if both father and mother are working, and if children are also working, so if grandmother, grandfather, either if they are working or if they are getting pension, the total family income increases. When they have a lot of family income, the amount is more, then the disposable income will be more, and they more income will be available for this family to be spending on shopping of their basic needs, basic services, and also on luxuries, because they will be availing more money, like daycare services, if they're a special nanny. If a family has a small kid that requires attention from a nanny, since the daycare services are closed during this COVID times, so it is the now the child has to be taken care at home. If their family income is more, they can appoint an individual nanny for that child or that kid, because they can now have um, more disposable income to spend on luxury services. Otherwise, they would have taken care of the kid in their home without the taking the help of nanny. So now, when they're taking the services of nanny, they have to spend more. And since the family income is more, they will take the help of nanny. And if the family income is not more, if the earning member of the family is only one, so they will try to look after the kid in the house and they will not appoint a nanny. So in this way, when people of the family all are working, if they have more income available at their disposal to spend on shopping, then they will spend on the basic needs and also on the luxuries. Higher family income influence the people in the family to buy more. Obviously, when you are having more family income, you tend to make more expenditure because there is no need to worry. You are having more income, so you are at liberty, you are comfortable, and you can spend more money without worrying. So this is also there. When there is a surplus income available for the family, the tendency is to buy more luxury items which otherwise a person might not have been able to buy. Obviously, when there is surplus income in the family, people will go and buy very expensive services, and rather they will not depend, they will not bought those services if they were not having such family income. Suppose there is a family income is there, since during, if you take this to today's situation during COVID times, if there is surplus income is there in the family, they can take the services of hotel services. They can bring food from hotel very now and then, since the hotels are open now in unlock phase, so they can bring more food. In normal times also they can buy more from hotels. They can get go to expensive spas for getting relaxed. They can take more entertainment services, costly entertainment services. They can have all Amazon Prime, Netflix all together along with the DTH. So they can have a multiple. They can go for viewing of cinema in multiplexes. So a lot of money is there at their disposal income as the past to dispose or to use for these luxury services. Otherwise, they would be restricting themselves when the family income is less. So, in this way, the family income plays a very important role, and it is the family income of a family that greatly influences the consumer behavior in case of services. Now, another sub-factor of economic factor that influences the consumer behavior in services is consumer credit. Consumer credit means how much credit or loan is made available to the person. Because if the person does not have a personal disposable income high, then he can take the help of loans or credit in order to finance his expenses. So the amount of money available as credit to the consumer also determines the consumer's behavior in case of buying of services. Let us understand this. When a consumer is offered easy credit to purchase goods and services, it promotes higher spending. We can take the example of all these retail sites. It may be Amazon, it may be Flipkart. So these are now tying up with various NBFCs and banks for giving easy credit, EMI facilities, and then you can buy on credit card, later you can pay. So all these special discounts if you are buying by using credit card. So a lot of this kind of credit facilities are being made available to the consumers. So when this is made available to these consumers, then they are able to spend a lot of money in buying those goods and services which they would not have bought initially. Suppose if easy credit is there, I can go to a foreign location for my entertainment purposes, for my traveling purposes, and that I can pay through my EMI, my credit card. Suppose that, then I'll take the advantage of that. Similarly, in large airport, there are lounges which requires a lot of membership fees. But if you are having particular credit cards, then you can get free access to these lounges. So this is really helpful, and the people who are having credit owners of this credit cards take the advantage of this special services that is being offered in the credit card. So the amount of credit that is available to the consumer is very important to understand, because that determines the or influences the consumer behavior in case of services, because accordingly they will be buying more. Okay. So now the second point is sellers are making it easy for the consumer to avail credit in form of credit cards, easy installment, bank loans, hire purchase, and many such other credit options. So we have discussed certain options in there. Sellers are nowadays tying up with these companies and banks in order to provide these credit cards. Credit cards we have discussed, easy installments we have discussed. Bank loans are today also very retail bank loans. Retail banks are providing very easier loans today. Why? Because they want that since people, loan should be available to the people so that the people will make purchases. So when the people make purchases, a lot of people make purchases, the demand increases altogether. So it is good for the economy. So bank loans are also easily available nowadays to these consumers. Similarly, other higher purchases, you can hire and can purchase later. So all these type of facilities are being provided to the consumers, and the consumers are having more credit at their disposal to meet their expenses. So this is really helpful and influences the buying behavior in case of services. When there is higher credit available to consumers, the purchase of comfort and luxury item increases. Obviously, when higher credit is available to the consumer will indulge himself in buying luxury items, luxury services. He will go to the best spa available. He will go to the best multiplex available because he may be having this special offers from very booking this ticket booking services like Book My Show. So he may be going for more than his if he can make more expenses because he's getting at a discount. So when higher credit is available to the consumer, they will be availing for these more luxury items, more luxury services. They may be going for foreign vacation. They may be taking the help of any specialized trainers for their fitness. So all these things is available when more consumer credit is available, when more disposable income is available, and they are able to spend more on comfort and luxury items. So with this increase of this consumer credit, the purchase on comfort and luxury items or services also increases. So in this way, the consumer credit also influences the consumer behavior in case of services. So another factor, sub-factor of economic factors that influences the consumer behavior in services is liquid assets. Liquid assets means the amount of assets that is in liquid form. That is means in cash, how much money do I have? If more money I'm having in my liquid assets, so I will be able to make more purchases. So you'll understand this. Consumers who have liquid assets tends to spend more money on comfort and luxuries. Obviously, they have a lot of money, easy money, but if they are not having in liquid assets, they are having in fixed assets. So they will not sell off a fixed asset in order to supplement their purchase power and buying of comfort and luxuries. But when they are having this liquid assets, a lot of liquid assets at their disposable, they can use those liquid assets to spend more because there is no guarantee that they will spend, but the chances are that they tend to spend more on comfort and luxuries. Liquid assets are those assets which can be converted into cash very easily. It directly means cash or those assets that can be converted into cash easily. So that means they are having more income or more finance at their disposable readily. So they will be making more of these purchases when they are having this more liquid assets. Cash in hand, bank savings, securities are examples of liquid assets. So some of the examples of liquids are cash in hand, or how much money am I having in my hand, what is my bank savings or my bank account I'm having immediately I can withdraw, or securities I'm having. All these things are examples of liquid assets. When a consumer has higher liquid assets, it gives him more confidence to buy luxury goods and services. Obviously, a person who is having a lot of liquid assets is much more confident because he has ready money at his disposal to make purchases. So he's much more confident and tends to spend more on comfort and luxury goods and services. So this is one of the factors, liquid assets, that greatly influences the consumer behavior in case of services. Now, the last sub-factor of economic factors that impacts the buying behavior or consumer behavior in case of services is the savings. Saving means the amount of money I have kept for my future, the amount of money I have saved, that greatly impacts. If that saving is more, I can make more purchases. I will be much more confident while making purchases of services and goods. But if simultaneously, if the savings is very less, then also I will be little bit apprehensive while making these purchases. A consumer is highly influenced by the amount of savings he or she wishes to set aside from his income. So while discussing disposable income, we have already discussed that disposable income means the amount available after deducting taxes, and this amount is for personal disposal for personal consumption and saving. So part of the money is saved from the income. A consumer who is influenced by the amount of savings he said to wish to set aside from his income. So that what proportion of the of my income I'm going to save, that is also one of the very important factors that I need to keep in mind. So that is very important. If a consumer decides to save more, then his expenditure on buying reduces. Obviously, if a consumer, if suppose, let us give you an example. If a person has 10,000 income, sorry, in all taxes and other things, 1,000 goes away. So he has 9,000 as his disposable income. Suppose out of his 9,000, he saves 3,000. So the amount of money available for consumption is 6,000 because 3,000 is saved. And similarly, if there is a person who saves 1,000, so the amount of money there for personal consumption for the consumer will be 9 minus 1, that is 8,000. So that means that if a consumer decides to save more money, then his expenditure reduces because a lot of money is again diverted towards savings, and his money in his hand for this personal consumption reduces. Since the money in his hand for personal consumption reduces, obviously he will make less expenditure in buying services, or he will buy services that are not much luxurious but are pertaining to basic needs of the consumer. So if a consumer decides to save more, then his expenditure on this buying of services will be reduced or will decrease. Whereas if a consumer is not interested to saving more, then most of his income will go towards buying products or services. Obviously, if the person there is a third person who does not do any kind of savings, so what happens then? The total money, the disposable money that is left on his hand to spend on various expenditure on various buying of products and services will be more. So if a person does not believe in saving, then obviously his income that is at his disposable for personal consumption will be more. So that person will be making more purchases of goods and services. So in this way, there are various factors. We have discussed all the 5 factors that influence the consumer behavior in case of services. Now, after understanding what is service consumer behavior, after understanding what are the factors determining or influencing the consumer behavior in case of services, we have to understand the various distinctive consumer behavior patterns. There are various distinctive patterns which are different from consumer behavior in case of buying of goods. So what are those distinctive factors of the consumer behavior that we have to understand while they are buying this services? So we'll understand this in the next slide. So there are certain points that has been highlighted. So we have to understand these points in order to understand uh, the various distinctive consumer behavior when it comes to services or towards services. So these are in points, and I'll be discussing one by one. The first point, that is the distinctive feature or distinctive consumer behavior when it comes to services are: consumers seek and rely more on information from personal sources than from non-personal sources when evaluating services before purchase. So while we are making purchases of services, generally the consumer indulges in information seeking. The consumer seeks information to see whether that service will be able to satisfy the consumer, will be able to fulfill the needs of the consumer. And while getting this information seeking process is going on, the consumer decides the various alternatives at his disposal, what are the alternatives are available to him, and then he makes a choice what service provider he should contact and what service offering he should choose and buy that service offering. So while this consumer seek and rely more on the information that is being provided by personal sources, those sources on which the consumer has faith, the consumer can depend. It is maybe the family, it may be his friend circle. So he will ask any person who has used that particular service whether that person is happy with the particular service, because he does not want to take risk while availing this service offering. So he will depend more on these personal sources rather than on non-personal sources. Non-personal source may be expert reviews, maybe reviews by some people, belief of some people, he does not know much. So while evaluating and while seeking and relying on information, he will be relying more information on this personal sources because he has more belief on those personal sources, and this is required while evaluating services before purchase. Here the evaluation is not after purchase. So before purchase, the consumer is evaluating that whether the particular service offering will be able to satisfy his needs, and then the consumer is ready, he's decided, yes, this service offering will satisfy my needs, and I can move ahead and make a purchase. So it is the consumer seek and rely more on information from personal sources than from non-personal sources when evaluating service before they make any purchase. Now the second thing that we need to understand, the distinctive consumer behavior is consumers engage in greater post-purchase evaluation and information seeking with services than with goods. So when it comes to services, the consumers engage or indulge or engage themselves in greater post-purchase evaluation and information seeking. So there are two things that they engage more. There is a greater engagement in post-purchase evaluation. What is post-purchase evaluation? Once we buy a particular service, once we avail a particular service, then we will evaluate how far that service was valuable to us, whether it was satisfying our needs, whether it was up to the service performance was up to the mark. So all these things will be evaluated in great detail while making purchase of services, then of goods, because in goods, before only purchasing, since the features are already there is standardization, so all the products available to all consumers will be having same features, same level of satisfaction power, need satisfaction power. So the consumers are not much more indulging in or engaging in post-purchase evaluation in case of goods. But when it comes to services, since the services are tailor-made, since the services are heterogeneous, and since the services, when he buys the services, it relies on personal sources, physical evidence is involved. So the consumers, as engaging in most post-purchase evaluation, will be evaluating the service much more with scrutiny after post-purchase of the service. So the post-purchase service evaluation will be more in case of services than in case of goods. Another thing that will be more is information seeking. This is before buying the service. So before buying the service, since there is a perceived risk that is attached with this buying of services, since they are buying something that is unknown, so there will be a lot of information seeking in case of services than in case of goods, because in goods, since the goods are homogeneous, since the goods are tangible, since and the goods are standardized, so it is not much information seeking is required. Even same information will be given by in various websites. If you contact various sources, they'll be giving you the same information, but the information seeking will be different for services, because different people will be having different service performances, must be have witnessed different service performances, and then the satisfaction from the same service would be different. Suppose the same person, the 5 people are going to the same restaurant, they will be differently satisfied. Some 2 people may be completely very satisfied, 2 people may be not at all satisfied, then maybe 1% is there that the service was okay, the service performance was okay, not very good, not very bad. So it's the same service that is being availed to these 5 people is given or given to these 5 people, they are having different satisfaction level due to the heterogeneous nature of services. So that is the reason there will be more information seeking in case of services than in case of goods. So people will be trying to make them to be much more sure, much more want to make their service offering purchase foolproof. So that is the reason they want to make indulge in much more information seeking in case of services than in case of goods. So another point which we a distinctive feature of uh, consumer behavior in buying in case of services is consumer engage in most post-purchase evaluation then pre-purchase evaluation when selecting and consuming services. Also, the one distinctive behavior of the consumers is that they, before buying the services, the pre-purchase evaluation, they may depend, they may think that, okay, somebody is telling, my relative is telling, my friend is telling, my family members are telling, I may buy, or my reference group I'm seeing, and I'm admiring that reference group, and I'm buying that services. So pre-purchase evaluation will be more, but will not be more. But the more post-purchase evaluation is there, because after purchasing, even if we somebody in our family says, or somebody a friend say we buy a particular service, we avail a particular service, but after availing the service, we are not satisfied, or we feel that even though physical evidence was available stating that the service was very good, our experience of the service, our service encounter was may not be very good. So instead of pre-evaluation, more post-evaluation is done in order to see whether the service was able to deliver the same quality, the same satisfaction as the consumer was expected. Also, because when in pre-purchase evaluation, he purchases a service or buys a service or avails a service after getting information, physical evidence from the personal sources, his expectation from the service also will be more. So if that expectation is not matched, then also he will not be satisfied. So there will be pre-purchase evaluation is there, but there will be more post-purchase evaluation while the selecting and consuming of services, in order to see whether the service was able to satisfy their needs of the consumer or not. So there are other distinctive consumer behaviors that we will discuss when it comes to services in the next class. So whatever we have discussed in today's class, I'll be sending you the notes digitally. Please go through the video, please go through the notes. If you have any doubts, no need to panic, contact me. And finally, thank you for your attention.